through that. Music to me was always a healer somehow in our family, and there was always singing, and there was always music, as I can remember since I was little. And I think if there was any role models at all, it was my parents, my mother especially, and her sisters, because they all sang in the church. There wasn't like any movie star idols or anything like that. I think when we grew up on television, there was only Amos and Andy, or I don't even think Lena Horne or any of the movie stars that we know of today were around then. I mean, I remember hearing about Eartha Kitt when I was about 12 years old, but there was no idols. There was nobody we could look up to. We had to create our own idols, and usually it was our parents. To me, my mother was the most magnificent woman in the world, and if I could ever even live up to my mother's standards, then I would be okay. I started to sing, and I lived out of the fashion magazines. I wanted to be a fashion designer when I was really young, and I worked in Detroit at a department store. I was a bus girl, you know, the girls that clean the dishes, and I used to be there basically because it could keep me where the store windows with all the beautiful clothing and everything else. Even though we couldn't afford it, I was there so I could see beautiful things. And then when I went to high school, I majored in fashion design and costume illustration. So I wanted to design clothes. And I went to beauty school so I could fix hair and do beautiful things with hair. And then I did makeup. So by the time I was 16, 17, and I met the Supremes, the first things I would do is we would wear our hair differently, and we'd wear makeup, and we'd always design our costumes. And I designed some of the first costumes for the Supremes. And I remember they were balloon dresses. I don't know if anybody remembers that in the 60s, the early 60s, these big balloon dresses. And so fashion and cosmetics and hair have always been a very important part of the singing, the glamour of it all. We were living out of fashion magazines. It wasn't a lot of television. I remember when I got my first television when I was a youngster. So things have blossomed. I've been singing now since the 60s, and in the early days I learned what the things that are important. Lights and sound and the look of the stage, the setting is very important, but mostly what's important is the voice, so that the people can hear the words of the song. So to me, the sound is more important than anything when I walk on the stage. I'm not going to worry about the gowns. I'm not going to worry about the makeup. I'm not going to worry about anything except knowing that the people can hear the words of the songs or the melody of the songs that they're used to hearing on record. So to me, when I walk on the stage, I don't want to worry about anything except knowing that they can hear, that the sound is good for them. It's not too loud. It's not too soft, that the sound is perfect. I'm a producer in a sense because I've been doing this for a long time. I know that the theatrics of a show is very important, that people like to see lights and they like to see the glamour of it all. But to me, what's more important is the song and the words and the interpretation of the words and the interaction between me and the audience. My costume changes are really about, it started because I can make costume changes very quickly. I got caught in a trap, really, because now I can't not make a costume change. And I like changing because I think the girls or the women in the audience like to see the difference in the costumes, especially in America. And I designed them, and they're very special because they don't make these kind of beaded costumes anymore in America. It's like a lost art. They actually have to make these beads with their fingers, and they bead these costumes. And I think from the audience, I'm not even sure they understand that these are hand-beaded costumes. And each one of them is an original. There's only one of those kind. And I've had them designed in Los Angeles, and I don't know how long I will be able to continue to have them. So I love to change my clothes all the time. I think the audience likes it, and I like it too. I couldn't wear one gown for an hour and a half. Too long. So that's really about the costumes, and I design them. I've designed clothes since the 60s. My husband reminds me, he said, you know, when you say working, you mean touring, because you're always working. I don't think I'm a workaholic, but I do know that in my life, I need to have a purpose every day. when I wake up, I like to have something to do. I like to have a plan. And I can't always accomplish it. I'm not always as I would like to be. But I know that I like to stay busy and I like to get something completed. I don't like to waste my life or to waste any time. I think I stay busy because it keeps me vital, it keeps me alive, and I think it keeps me young too. When I'm at home, mostly what I do is my life is consumed by my children. I have 5 kids. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a lot of kids. And I have 5 babies, which I birthed myself. And I didn't have cesareans or anything. I really birthed my children myself. I nursed them. Each of them, I nursed them at least 6 months to a year. And the most rewarding time of my life was to be pregnant, which is weird, but it's true. It is the most wonderful time to have children. And I always wanted to have children. I remember when I was with the Supremes, we kept trying to figure out who was going to be the one to have the first baby. I'm up in the morning at 6 in the morning. My kids are up at 7. I get them ready for school. We're out the door at 8 o'clock. I take my kids to school by 8:30. I'm in the office by 9. 9 o'clock till about 2:30, I'm doing my office business, whether it's touring or planning new tours or concerts or settings or costumes or whatever it is, or any new business. I'm working on that until about 2:30. 2:30, I leave in the car to pick them up at 3 o'clock from school. We come home, we have a snack. I'm with my kids until they go to bed with homework. I'm mommy. They have homework after school. They're in bed by 8:30. We watch television together. We read a book, and they're off to bed at sleep. I'm in bed maybe 9:30. I'm not very social. I don't go out a lot. On the weekends, we go to the country, and I spend time with my kids. We play soccer. We go swimming. We take long walks with the dogs, and I'm an ordinary person. I drive to the market. I go and I shop for lunches for school, and I'm just really fairly ordinary when I'm at home. I spend a lot of time on the telephone talking to my other children, my older children, who one lives in Washington, one, I just spend time with them. I don't do a lot of shopping. I don't like to shop, although I know people think that I shop a lot. I don't like to shop. I find it really hard to shop because it's hard to be out in the public. And then that's my day. From school starts in September, and it goes all the way through until long school breaks. I try to take vacation. I spend time in Europe with my husband, and that's it. It's kind of real. It's real. I like to come into the audience. I'm not like other performers who kind of look into the darkness like a theater show, that you look into the darkness and there's a curtain that drops between you and the audience. For me, what's real important is that I get a chance to interact with the audience. They're me and I'm them, and I look at their eyes, and I want to see their faces, and I feel like we've traveled a long ways, and I want to be close to them. And the songs, if they love them, there's an identity between the two of us. And so I try to come into the audience song closer. It seems to break the ice. It seems to make us more comfortable with each other. It sort of also makes me more real to them, so that I'm not on a pedestal up on a stage away from them and separate from them, that I have the same emotions and the same feelings that they do. And it kind of makes us, there's a bond that happens when I leave the stage. Sometimes I stay on the stage for a reason, because I think they want to really listen to the songs. And sometimes if I go into the audience, they can't really hear the songs because so much is going on. So I stay on the stage long enough for them to hear the words and feel the melody and feel the feelings of the songs. And then when I think it's appropriate, then I come out into the audience to be with them. And it's a oneness that happens. I don't want to be separate from the audience. I want to be a part of who they are. And I want to be very involved in their feelings because I have them too about each of the songs. So it's, to me, it's just as important for me to go out into the audience as it is for them to have me come into the audience. If I do a whole show and I just stand on the stage, I feel like I've not gotten where I should be, as a performer. I need to be there. And sometimes it's difficult, you know, if they rush the stage or if they rush me, sometimes it's not really easy. And in America, they can understand my words very easily. I can say, relax, let me come to you, and they let me walk in the audience. They let me walk around. A lot of the audience here in Japan may not understand all my words, so they just want to be close to you. So in a sense, it kind of stops me from moving to go around in the audience. Because I don't want anybody to ever get hurt. In the early days, when I started to sing, the writers would write songs and I would interpret them. Now when I go into a recording session, I actually select the songs that I identify with. The kind of person I feel that I want to be, and I hope that I am, is motivational, inspirational. I don't want to focus ever on negativity, so I try to focus only on positive. So the songs I select a lot, like I Will Survive, and most of Ain't No Mountain High Enough, you know, they're inspirational songs, and I choose them because it's what I need. To me, my songs are a reflection of where I am. If it's a love song and it's painful, it's probably what I'm going through at that time in my life. But I choose the songs really because of it's honest. They're real, and it's not, I don't know if I could do a song that was not honest for me. So the interpretation of a songwriter's words has to be honest for me. The songs that I did here in Japan that were written by Japanese composers, That's Why I Call You My Friend. To me, there's some words in there that are really, really special for right now. You know, there's a word in there, I'm here for you, because at the beginning of this tour, I was lots of confusion, and I really thought maybe I needed to cancel the tour and go back home and be with my family. And then I was torn between keeping my word, which my word was that I would do this tour, and to, you know, be on purpose here while I was here. So I had to try to figure out where the right place for me to be. And this song, When I Call You My Friend, I do feel that the Japanese audience have always been my friend. And I enjoy being here with them. They're the most moving audience I've ever been with. The love that I feel from them, they're not intimidated or shy about showing their feelings. And people always tell me the Japanese are shy. I think that they look me straight in the eyes. They tell me from their heart how they feel. And it's not at all what people think. The Japanese are very, very loving and sensitive people. And especially the women. Most of my songs, I guess, identify with the new women of today. A strong woman does not mean that you have to be insensitive to be strong. You take responsibility. A lot of my songs say that, and I feel like the new generation of women in Japan really identify with my music. I do. This tour has been an amazing tour for me. I've been to Japan many times before, almost since the 60s. I came here with Lady Sings the Blues. But this tour somehow seems to have very special meaning because at the beginning of the tour, I was brought really very bad news, a family problem or tragedy, actually. And so I had to kind of pull myself together and realize that I needed to be here. I felt like God had put me here for a reason. And I'm here with people who really care about me. I like being in Japan, in Tokyo and Osaka and Hiroshima. And the love that I feel from the audience is very nurturing for me, and it was very important for me at this time. So the 3 weeks that we've spent here has gone by very quickly because of the love from the audience. And the songs that they love mostly seems to be If We Hold On Together, which is very meaningful to me. It's my gift of love from the Japanese audience. If We Hold On Together is not a song that was introduced all over the world, but only here in Japan. So this time, these last 3 weeks, has been a time of rejuvenation or trying to organize myself. So the end of this tour is kind of really special because, first of all, everybody that's with me, the musicians, the crew, the dancers, and the singers, they're all so, they're all here for me, and I feel their support and their love, and it's been a really special tour. And I would like to give back to them somehow. And I don't know how I will do that, but they're very special, the people that work with me.
We're going to do If We